So in this lecture we will be covering the remaining topic of dividend policy. Basically over here you have the signaling effects theory, the clientele effect theories, and on number 3 you have the residual model. So in this video I will discuss signaling effect theories and the clientele effect. Information content or signaling hypothesis. So an increase in the dividend is often accompanied by an increase in the stock price, while a dividend cut generally leads to a stock price decline. So basically the theory says, for example, a company has always been paying a 5,000 or let's say 5,000 to 6,000 range dividend, and all of a sudden some year, so 1 2 3 4th year also they paid a very nice dividend of 6,500. At the 5th year all of a sudden they paid out a dividend of only 500. This will give a signal to the investors that something is wrong. They will be worried that maybe the corporation has gone into losses, or whatever is the reason that the company no longer has profit to give them. So when this happens, the investors will start to panic and they will sell shares in the stock market, and once they sell shares in the stock market, the price will actually go down. So dividend gives a signal to the investors about the future prospects of the company. Similarly, if you have another company which has always given low dividends, so let's say 200 only, or 250, then 300, then 350, then all of a sudden they're giving a dividend of 6,000. So once they increase the dividend, all of a sudden this will again give a signal to the investors, and this time the investors will assume that okay, they're paying out so much cash, that might mean that the company has done really well, and they are confident about the future prospects of the company as well. That's why they're not investing that much and they're giving more of the money to us. So your investors will think this to be a good thing about the future prospects, and therefore they would buy even more shares, which would lead to a price increase. So this is the gist of your signaling theory. Let's go back to the slides. Higher than expected. So it's based on the expectation. If a business always pays a dividend of, let's say, 5,000, and if they're paying a dividend of 6,000, then that's not a very big jump. But if a dividend of only a small amount is being paid and all of a sudden they're going into thousands, and that is a higher than expected dividend increase, and it is a signal to investors that management forecasts good future earnings. Conversely, a dividend reduction or smaller than expected increase, so it's based on what was the expectation of the investor, a signal that management forecasts poor future earnings. So it's the same thing that I just explained to you. So basically this theory says that dividend itself has information content in it, because the managers know more about the business and the outside investor. So only when they think that okay, so what was I saying? I was saying that yes, the managers, it is said that the dividend policy itself will have information content, because the managers know more about the business than the investors. So if they are reducing the dividend, that would mean that maybe the managers are afraid of something. That's why it sends a signal to the investor that maybe something is wrong. And similarly, and they are not disclosing this information to us. Similarly, if they increase the dividend, then again because the managers know more, and if they're increasing the dividend, then that would mean that something good is about to happen, and they expect that the future earnings will increase even more. That's why they're paying out so much, and that would give a signal to the investor that we should purchase this share even, because in the future things are looking up for the business. Now the clientele effect. So clienteles are different groups of stockholders that prefer different dividend and payout policies. So there are groups of investors, shareholders that would prefer something else. For example, if you are a young investor, then your earnings right now would be very good, and maybe you do not need more extra income in the form of dividend. You are more interested in saving as much as you can. So if you're interested in saving as much as you can, you would actually go for those businesses that have a low payout policy. आप खुद ब खुद वो बिज़नेस प्रेफर करोगे जिसकी पे आउट पॉलिसी कम है, बिकॉज आप अभी यंग हो, आपको आपकी अगर सैलरी अच्छी है, इफ़ यू आर अर्निंग वेरी वेल, तो आपके पास ऑलरेडी इतनी इनकम है दैट यू डू नॉट नीड एक्स्ट्रा इनकम इन द फॉर्म ऑफ डिविडेंड. इंस्टेड यू आर लुकिंग फॉर गुड सेविंग ऑप्शंस, एंड इफ द कॉर्पोरेशन इज सेविंग फॉर यू, which means कि instead of giving it in the form of dividends वो business में ही दोबारा reinvest कर रहे हैं, then that would be actually very good for you. वरना अगर वो dividend देंगे तो फिर आपको सोचना पड़ेगा कि अच्छा मैं इस dividend को भी दोबारा कहाँ reinvest करूँ, और आपको उसके transaction costs भी bear करनी पड़ेंगी. So stockholders in their peak earning years might prefer reinvestment, which means they will prefer capital gains more. Whereas if you think about a person who is very aged, तो उसको maybe he is just living on pension, and he would want the extra income that is coming in the form of dividend. The person is actually not interested in savings anymore. उसको अब और बचाना नहीं है, उसने जो बचाया हुआ है उसमें से उसको आप खर्च करना है. तो अगर उसको डिविडेंड के फॉर्म में, कैश के फॉर्म में इनकम मिलेगी, वुड बी मोर सेटिस्फाइड, बिकॉज दैट इज़ व्हाट ही वाज लुकिंग फॉर. उसको अब सेविंग्स नहीं करनी है, बिकॉज ही डजंट नो हाउ मच लॉन्गर विल ही लिव. सो हिज horizon, his investment horizon has now changed. So retired individuals generally would prefer cash income, so they often want the firm to pay out a high percentage of its earnings. So they would go for those businesses जो कि पहले से उनको पता है कि high payout देती हैं. So therefore investors who want current investment income should own shares in high dividend payout firms, while investors with no need for current investment income should own shares in low dividend payout firms. Like if I need the extra money in the form of cash, then I should go for businesses that give high dividend payouts. But if I myself do not want the dividend and instead I want to save more, so I should go for the capital gain one, because capital gain is a form of saving. 1000 से वो चीज़ 1200 की हो रही है, 1500 की हो रही है, तो वो आपकी एक तरीके से सेविंग है जो कि इंक्रीज़ हो रही है. जैसे कि आप घर ख़रीदते हो या कोई प्लॉट ख़रीदता है, तो प्लॉट की वैल्यू जब बढ़ रही होती है तो आपकी वेल्थ इंक्रीज़ हो रही होती है, वो आपकी सेविंग्स होती हैं फॉर द फ्यूचर. इसी तरीके से अगर स्टॉक की प्राइस इंक्रीज़ हो रही है, सो अगेन इट इज़ सेविंग्स फॉर द फ्यूचर. Okay, so then we have the residual dividend model, which I will cover in the next video.